a conversation that I thought would be a good one to have, and it's around mindset, and it's around personal style, and it's about defining our personal style. And so I really believe that there's three things, like three core things that our style or that our trading must have in order for it to work well for us. And you may have heard me mention these things before, but it's good to review. If you haven't heard this before, then you'll want to write it down. Um, the three things that our trading must match are that it must match our goals, it must match our beliefs, and it must match our ability to execute. And if any one of those three things are missing, then the system won't work for us. And so when we hear something that's simple, goals, beliefs, execution, it's real. It can be very easy to just run right past it, right, and say that, okay, yeah, my goal is to make 40% this year, and my belief in a system, yeah, like I believe that the system works. I read it in a book. I'm good to go. And can I execute it? Well, sure. I'm capable of following rules, and to get past it in under 30 seconds. And I want to reiterate that, and this is speaking from decades of experience now, that it takes more than that, and so we need to dig into what our goals are, and write them down. What our beliefs are, and write those down, and figure out what we truly are able to execute, given the first two, and also factoring in our lifestyle as well. So I think getting super clear on what our goals are is an important step. So with that, uh, trading goals, I think that some goals to consider, right? Like what the financial objectives are, of course, but also the goals about how involved we want to be. Sometimes we might have lofty goals for our trading. To be able to hit a certain percentage return each year, to be consistent. Maybe it's goals for you tell me, what are some of your goals with trading?
Setting stop losses.
Okay. What are the goals?
I would say something similar, Mike. For me this year, I would say it's my kind of my second year of trading, and my goal is to learn as much as possible, and in general, all the technical stuff. I would say stop loss, entry patterns, risk management. Uh, yeah, like having a goal of X return the on the year, I will be for me like a secondary goal. In my case, of course.
Excellent. What else? We've got learning as much as we can, setting stop losses. What else do we have?
My ultimate goal is financial independence.
Financial independence. So, what does let's quantify that one. That's a good one too. So, now, what does financial independence mean? And if you don't have to say that if you don't want to, but well, when we think of these kinds of things, it's good to think about like, well, what does independence mean to me? And there's actually a very, very, very good exercise that Tony Robbins outlined in his book. Uh, let me and I wrote a blog post about this too. So let me see if I could find the blog post. Yeah, I wrote this blog post a little while ago. Yeah, 9 key learnings from Money Master the Game. Yeah, here we go. This is excellent. This I'm actually going to share the link in the meeting room chat. So give this a read. Yeah, how much money for financial freedom? So there's financial independence, financial vitality, and then absolute financial freedom. So the way that he defined it was that your independence is you're able to pay for your basics, right? Like you're able to pay for your fixed costs, your living expenses, keeping a roof over your head, your stomach full, and keeping warm, more or less. Then you move over to financial vitality. You're doing some of the things that you want to do, and to give you a personal example of this too, like Melissa and I are at the stage where we've hit this and we're moving on to this, where we've started to parse out different funds, right? And so there's a fixed cost fund for the household and the mortgage and the things like utilities and lawn landscaping and those kind of things, monthly recurring stuff. And then in another fund is the opportunity fund, and that's what we're calling it. And the opportunity fund is something where what goes into that? Well, that's vacations, that's gifts, that's that's investing or buying a secondary property and things like that. So when money is divided in this way, it helps to shape the mindset of each of those things. And then when you get past that and you come over to here to absolute financial freedom, it's like that. This is like your wildest dreams, the amount of money that you need for that. So it's a great exercise to go through this and to start to see, well, how much money does it actually take for each one of these things? And you might be surprised that it's not that it may not be nearly as much as you think. Like I wrote down here, at the onset when I first did this exercise, I thought that I needed 5 million a year to hit absolute freedom. Turns out that only $500,000 does it.
Mike, are you sharing your screen? Because I'm not able to see your screen if you are sharing it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I'm just going through the blog post. You didn't miss much. Yeah, here's the blog post. Right, so this is the blog post up here. 9 key learnings from Money Master the Game. I shared the link in the chat. I was just going through, talking through this section here, number 3. How much money for financial freedom? So I think that it's a good idea to go through this, to go through that kind of kind of an exercise for financial independence. Any other goals? Any other goals that we could think of?
To have my time be my own.
Now that's a good one. My time be my own. And here's another, and I'm glad you bring that up, Andrew, because it's a goal that I think that many of us have, but we might not put it to paper. So wrapped up in that goal of my time being my own is how much time do we really want to be dedicating to the market and to research and to learning all this stuff, because there's a lot of stuff in here, right? Like I'm in the midst of writing a book about this stuff. I'm about 150 pages in. Like by the time I'm done, I think it's going to be about 350, and there really is a lot in the core skills for trading. And so it's really like taking on another career, depending upon like how good do we really want to get at this. This is a very unique room that we're sitting in here, right? We're not like you talk to a random person on the street, and most people aren't going to be as dedicated to this as we are. And it's not a judgment. It's just the way that it is. Different people have different areas of interest. Ours happen to be trading and in the markets, and we find this all very very interesting. So we're willing to put in this kind of time and effort, but it's good to define it too, because as life changes, sometimes that time element changes. Right, like if you're in a job or your schedule changes for some reason, something changes with your family, that affects your time presently, and those things need to be thought of too. So how much time do we want to give to this? Like how much time does it need, and how much time am I willing and able to give it, and make those kinds of adjustments? It's very good to think through these kinds of things.
Kind of in the same vein, Mike, is, I don't know, I want to say it's Mark Cuban, but it's a quote that sticks out to me when I start thinking about this stuff, is that most people overestimate what they can do in like a day or a week or whatever it is, and then underestimate what they can accomplish in a decade.
Yep. Totally agree, 100%. It's one of the things that sent me down this self-development path. It's like, I think it's been like maybe 5-6 years. Jeez, that's, they say time flies. It really does. Wow. But yes, you're absolutely right, and it's the consistent effort towards those things, and it's and it's not just like a nose to the grindstone trying to figure this stuff out too. Like I'm reading another very excellent book. I'd recommend this one to anybody. I've gone through the Audible version of it 4 times so far, and I'm picked up the hard copy too, and I'm making notes in there. It's Robin Sharma's new book, the Everyday Hero Manifesto. Highly recommend it. And one of the things that he talks about too is like he breaks down different sets, right? Like, so we talk about mindset a lot. He talks like he breaks it down into mindset, heart set, soul set, and health set. And it I kind of feel as though like so much is like all of it's tied together, right? It's almost like our body, right? Like what makes a human? It's not just one part; it's all the parts. So, um, one of the things that he talks about in there, yeah, like well with those different sets, and so like a heart set being like our emotionality, our feelings, and things like that, and it's part of what I talk about when I'm thinking of mindset and beliefs. And where beliefs come from, and like if we're talking about like let's say that I'm, and I had this fear for a long time too, right? And I think that this is fairly common, like a fear of judgment. Um, and trying to think through, well, where, not just where that came from, but some of the strategies to overcome. Right, and so very brief story from high school. So in high school, we had this thing called Visitation Day. I went to a Catholic high school, and on Visitation Day, they sent out a couple of students with a teacher to give a talk to some elementary schools. Basically, we were pitching our high school, and so we go to the first school. I'm in the honors class, and I'm with somebody in one of the other classes, and so I have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, and ego, and I get up and I read my speech, and I sit back down. Still wasn't a huge fan of public speaking at that time, but I read my speech off the paper. It was decent. And I sit down, and then this other kid, he gets up and he gives this brilliant, heartfelt speech, like lots of emotion, no paper or anything. And I'm awestruck and just like, wow, like that's amazing. Like I want to do that. And if he could do it, so can I. Right, so I get up at the next school, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna crush the speech. And I get up, and I get through the first sentence, and then I completely blank. And there's seconds going by. Well, what seems like hours, and I'm just I'm completely frozen in front of all these like I'm in like 8th or 9th grade, and I'm talking to a class of, I think, like 6th graders, and like they're starting to snicker and everything. So I pull out the paper, I read through it really fast, and then I sit down, and that's and I feel absolutely terrible for a very long time, for weeks, if not months, after that. But and just thinking about that, but I so that happens. Not fun in the moment, but then later on, my friends, being the good friends that they are, they tell me that what you need to do is to join the drama club, join speech and debate. And I'm there telling them, like, well, what are you out of your minds? Like, didn't you just hear the story that I told you, where all these kids are laughing at me? And it's like what they were basically getting me to do was to face my fears head on. And I remember going to my first speech and debate. I was in this thing called Student Congress. Basically, the school would draft like different bills on whatever topic, and then present them, and we would debate them back and forth. Anyway, so the first event, I'm reading off the paper like I did at that first school, decent speech, and I end up getting an honorable mention, and that boosts my ego a little bit. And then as the weeks progress, I started to tell myself that I need to care less and less about what other people think. And it was at that point when I started to, and it didn't happen at first, but it was the repetitiveness of the seeing the result, telling myself to worry less about what other people thought, and to focus on the process of crafting the speech, delivering the speech, the practices, and that, where I ended up going to the state championships in my first year. right? And so to turn around from a kid that's getting laughed at by a bunch of little kids to going to the state championships in the same year is that, to me, that's a remarkable success story. And the turnaround and to turn around from having this massive fear of judgment to finally saying, you know what, well, like I need to just put that out of my mind and focus on the process, I think is a big core of what helped me do that. And so much of it, like that's the same lesson applies to us here in trading. I've been told before, like by different family members and friends early on that trading is gambling, and well, what the hell are you doing? Right? And you know, you struggle with trading at first, right? Well, we all do. It's challenging to figure out, and it's not like a clear cut path. Like it's certainly clearer as we go, and the resources that are available now are better than the resources back when I started, back like long before me, like when O'Neill was starting, and before him too, right? Like you talk about Nick Darvis, and he's looking at ticker tape, and he's drawing charts on graph paper, right? Like we've got it easy, but the same kind of focus on process, starting to dismiss judgment, and it's the repetitiveness of the core habits that help us get to that next level, and dropping the negative behind. And it's something that we have to do. If we don't, right? Like there was another famous saying too, that if we fight for to hang on to our to stay in our comfort zone, or if we fight to hang on to our negative beliefs, we get to keep them, right? Like if we're fighting for the beliefs that aren't serving us, we get to keep them. So this is part of why outlining our goals becomes so important, because then when we move on and we start to take a look at our beliefs and our belief systems, then we could start to say, well, it's not that the belief itself is good or bad, right? Because you remember, nothing is neither good or bad. It's thinking that makes it so. Well, is the belief then, is X, Y, and Z beliefs getting us closer to or further from the goal? Right? And if the belief is, then fantastic. It's helping us. If it's not, well, what can we do to reconcile it, so that we're moving in alignment towards our goals? And then that's part of what helps us really move faster down the path of success. Not that it's necessarily going to be easy, but it's a lot easier, right? It's just like if we go to a gym, and let's say we haven't seen the inside of the gym for a few years. Well, it's even if we go and we sign up for a membership, and let's say we get a personal trainer, it's going to be a lot easier with a personal trainer. And I just got a personal trainer too. We've been working together now for maybe 3 months, night and day, right? Like all the little micro adjustments that he's helping me make. Separate conversation, but if you're interested in getting physically fit, like highly recommend getting the best personal trainer you could find. This guy's been phenomenal. But anyway, if you go to the gym and you get yourself a personal trainer, like, you still have to put in the work, right? Like, you can't just sign the paper and just expect results by not doing anything. There's still work involved. So with all this, getting clear on goals, getting clear on beliefs, there's still the work involved, and you'll still hit challenges, but you're going to be moving so much easier, faster than if you disregard that work. So, any thoughts or comments on any of that?
How do you like explore your beliefs in depth?
Indeed, in depth, and it's there's multiple kinds of beliefs to have too, and when I first started thinking about these exercises, and I've actually am in the process of adding a new section to the book too. Like so much what was focused on our trading beliefs and our money beliefs. I think that we could break it up even more too, and take a look at personal beliefs, our self beliefs too. So much of my personal struggle that I had had to do with the self belief, self worth, and healing those wounds from having a really messy childhood. Right, that I only healed much later on into adulthood, and only as an adult became fully aware of how limiting or how limited I was, because those past wounds were never really healed. They were buried. So it wasn't as though like I wasn't successful in different things, but it was almost like there was a ceiling. And it's where, if we're not carrying it's like, I would say that if it might be akin to, like, let's say that you're like, picture a runner, right? And this runner has like a 50-pound backpack on them, right? The strong runner, athletic, but they've got this 50-pound backpack. So they're running, but they don't realize that they've got this backpack on, and so they're going to be able to run at a certain speed. Well, if they become aware of this 50-pound backpack and do the work to take it off, and now they're not being weighed down by that backpack anymore, how much faster are they able to go? That's what doing this kind of mindset and beliefs work, and digging into personal beliefs, and what Robin Sharma calls the heart set. That's what that is. So, yeah, if you've never done these kind of exercises before, it's totally worth it. And if you need or would like any help with any of that, like, feel free to reach out to me directly, and I'll be willing to help you as much as I can.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So beliefs being structured into the personal beliefs, like, as far as trading goes, like, yeah, the personal beliefs, our beliefs around trading, beliefs around money, and it if we're talking about psychology too, like, there's psychology of individual trades, and there's market psychology too, and like, outlining those different kinds of beliefs. It sounds more daunting than it is. It does take a significant amount of work, but the work is totally worth it. Um, you could block out an afternoon to go and to do this kind of stuff, and to sit down with a journal. Um, it's one of the reasons why, like, I've gotten so into journaling is because of the progress that it really helps to highlight too. Um, it's almost like another thing that Robin talks about, or a quote of his, is that journaling is praying on paper. And like, we're getting it out of our heads, and we're putting it somewhere where we could write it down, and then come back days, weeks, months later and take a look at what we wrote. And you're able to look at it so much differently, so much more objectively, because it's now it's words on a page. It's not something that we're necessarily identifying with. So often it's easy to identify with our thoughts as us, but it's just thoughts, right? Like other people have had the same thoughts, right? Like, so is it truly ours? It's almost like like, well, when in a trade and we're worried about the trade going this way or that way, but as soon as the trade is off, you're able to look at it completely different. Right, or let's say that you didn't start a position in a trade, like we just throw up a random chart. You don't have any kind of attachment to it, right? It's just lines on a screen. So all those kind of beliefs, and then I think that our systems are a reflection of our beliefs, or that they need to be, because if we don't believe in the system or what it is that we're doing, then how are we going to be able to execute it? Like we were discussing in the trading rules challenge under the general discussion. The about going over a bridge, right? Like if we have faith in a bridge, right, and we're driving over a bridge, and the question of is this bridge going to collapse probably never enters our head, because we're driving over the bridge on a car. We're seeing thousands of other cars drive over the bridge. Like the bridge collapsing at that very moment is most likely not a thought. But if you were to come across, you're walking in through the jungle, and you come to one of those rickety bridges out of a movie that's held together by some rope that looks like it's 100 years old. You're likely going to have some fear walking across that bridge, and rightfully so. So how much do we believe in our bridge? And our system is the bridge that's going to get us from where we're at to the goals that we have. How much faith, how much belief do we have in our bridge? And some of the things that help to strengthen that are, do we know that it works? Right? It's a fair question. Do we know that it works? And by what measure are we going to judge that it works? One of the things that Tom Basso, if you don't know that name, he's one of the guys that was profiled in Market Wizards, in the first Market Wizards book. Definitely worth checking it out. One of the things that Tom talks about is that each trade is just one trade out of the next 1,000 trades that you're going to make. Right? Like so if we're monitoring too closely of a trade and like getting so emotionally invested in any one trade, like it's just one trade out of the next 1,000. Right? Like, of course we want to be following our rules and our process, but like the emotional highs or lows, right? Like it's just one trade. So beliefs, goals, beliefs, and finally the ability to execute. Well, what are we able to execute? And that's something that can change over time as well, right? Like given our lives, our lifestyle. Like if we're in a job, the schedule changes at the job, or birth of a child might change how we execute, and also in execution too. Like it's more than just like entering the orders. In execution, I think to think about the full process, right? Like so, how we're doing our research, the length of time that it takes. Do we still have the same block of time for trading that we did before? Or are we getting, are there interruptions now? Right, it's all good things to think about. Like, well, when I think back to when Lily was first born, like I didn't, and that's coming on 7 years, right? Like, so like I'm seasoned at that point, but I forgot to think through this part, and I was just watching the equity curve go up and to the right, exactly how it's supposed to go, and then not factoring in that, oh, you know what, like. Having a kid in the mix might make things a little bit different, and like there's different like even like in the same block of time, like it's different. Like hearing like having to drop something to go change a diaper, or to give milk, or whatever, right? Like it's these kinds of things, like as life progresses, to start to think about, and to think about the schedule, because trading is such where uh, and like I speak for myself, and I speak from like high performance, or what I know of high performance, but I still would say that it's it, like that we should think about it in terms of ourselves too. But from my own experience and from what I know of high performance, a tight bubble of focus is uh, very important when it comes to trading. Um, for like for the analysis, for all aspects of it. And I find that, well, when I'm attempting to multitask almost anything, like I get lesser results than if I'm completely all in, 100% focused on the task. Monotasking, as some people call it. So, any thoughts on that? We've got three things. We need to trade in line with our goals, our beliefs, and our ability to execute. And it's so valuable to take some time, block out some time for yourself, and to really go through that, because that's what's we're basically building a house for our trading, and that's the foundation. And even if you say that, well, like I haven't done that, and I've been trading for years now, and I'm fine. It's worth doing anyway, because just like in a house, sometimes we need to go and repair the foundation, right? Like we there's maintenance to be done on the house. So I would still encourage you to go and to do this kind of exercise. And again, if you find that you need any help, or you would like any help, by all means, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be glad to do all that I can for you. All right. So, yeah, if there's any questions about any of that, let me know, or we will move on to trade ideas.
Hey, Mike, Ropel talks about something that kind of resonated with me. I'm not sure where it kind of fits in with what you said, but um, when the money becomes too important, then it becomes an issue. So if the money that you're trading, if you're looking at it like, your next mortgage payment, your next car payment, the cell phone bill, or what have you, then it becomes, you're too attached to the money. It's when you it's when you detach yourself from the money, and he says that the money doesn't matter, and when it just doesn't, you don't care about it. Um, it helps increase, from a psychological perspective, your objectivity. If I said that correctly, if that makes sense. And I'm not sure if that even fits in with what you were just saying, but
Yeah, it totally does. If we're like if the money is too dear to us, then it's going to affect our decision making. So if we're trading with money that we need to eat with, then it's going to affect our decision making. Um, you know, you actually make me want to go back to the the interview that I did with my buddy AJ. I think it was maybe a year, 2 years ago, something like that. But he was a floor trader, traded copper futures for many years, and it was his sole source of income. And so I'm talking to him too about like, well, how do you sleep at night? Like when trading is like your only source of income, and that's what it was like basically like since he had graduated from college, right? And so part of it is like you have like a trading account and it's just meant for trading, right? Like so, and yeah, you're generating an income off of it, but you also have a separate fund that's taking care of the bills, right? So it's not where like, okay, if this trade doesn't go my way, then I'm gonna get kicked out of my house, or I'm not gonna eat tonight. And so it's having multiple pots of money that are dedicated for different things, just like how I had mentioned before too, like how Melissa and I are starting to have this bucket that's for fixed expenses, right? Like for the mortgage, for utilities, for like the fixed monthly costs, and then separate to that is an opportunity fund for like vacations and things like that. Separate from that is a trading, right? Like if the trading account were the vacation account, right? Like if it has like a dual purpose, then it's just like, like if this trade goes south, then you know what? Instead of going to Disney World last year, maybe we're going up the street to the festival instead, right? Like it's things like that where we definitely want to try to take as much of the emotion out of the trading account as we can. And it's actually I started in that same token, and I did this with Lily, and I think that it's a great thing for adults. I think that it's an even great exercise for kids, and it's an exercise that I got from The Richest Man in Babylon. You ever hear that book, The Richest Man in Babylon? The Richest Man in Babylon, totally worth the read. It's a quick book, maybe about 100 pages or so. One of the things that they talk about in there is like splitting funds, and the one of the key differences between the rich and the poor are that the rich pay themselves first, and the poor pay for the rich pay invest first and spend what's left. The poor spend first and invest what's left, right? So you're constantly like adding to your success, your investments. So what I ended up doing with Lily in this way was to create a 10-10-10-70 split for all money that comes in. And so we like painted little jars and everything, and she got excited, like Hobby Lobby kind of stuff. And so the first 10% is, well, you give to charity, right? So you get into a habit of giving. Super important. So it's super important to start at an early age too, I feel, because it's a lot easier to give 10 cents out of every dollar than it is to, like, well, when you get up to 100,000 to give 10,000 away. When you get up to 1,000,000 to give 100,000 away, right? Like it's a lot easier when you're dealing with small numbers. So better to start the habit early. Then the next 10% to get into the habit of like, here's your investment, right? So you have a specific dedicated fund, little pot that's investing dollars, and you just take whatever dollar comes in, 10 cents out of that goes into investment, then great. Like that's what that money is there for. And so when you're using it to invest you're less emotionally attached because it's doing what it's supposed to do, right? And you go into it understanding that, yeah, like it's going to fluctuate a little bit, and I need to learn, right? And you speak to yourself like, yeah, like I need to learn how to do this, and how to invest and trade, and there's a bit of a learning curve in there. So that's 10%. The other 10% is for building something, right? Like, well, whether you're taking that money and investing it into a business, investing it into the house, like something that you're going to be able to grow separately. That's not like investing in the market. For Lily, it's she's gonna make a lemonade stand, and sell out, like buying the lemons, and the construction paper to make a sign and things like that. So like starting to adopt that kind of a mindset too. It's again just like, so it's more about the habit, right? And then the last 70% is, well, spend it on whatever you want, right? But to do it in that order, right? The first 10% charity, second 10% investing, third 10% building a business, or selling something, right? So like creating like multiple streams of income and getting that ingrained so early. And this is something that I learned later in life too. So you can pick it up at any age. And then it's that last 70% that you're spending on everything else. It makes for perpetual wealth. So definitely, and it's a great strategy to divorce the emotion from the money, especially when it comes to trading. When it's earmarked specifically for trading, then you're not looking at that money as like this is my ticket out of this job, or this is my new boat, or this is my vacation, or whatever. Like as we grow the account, it can certainly help with all those things, and pulling a little bit out for some of those things as a reward. But at the onset, the goal should be to grow the account, right? Like it would almost be like we plant a tree, and we chop the tree down, like the right after it starts to grow. Right? Like, well, you're never going to have a large tree if we chop it down right away. Right? We need it to continue to grow. And then once it gets to a certain threshold, then it can start to provide fruits for the lifetime. So I definitely agree with Jim there. Any other thoughts or questions or comments? All right, so hopefully you guys found that segment helpful. Again, definitely recommend this blog post. If you haven't read it already, go check it out. And I posted the link in the meeting room, so go check that out later, and we'll get into the trade ideas.